Tala mo ka pui ai Ngaahi tu'unga kotoa pe o tonu ke whakatapua, kai ata mo au ke u Fakataukei atu e tau Polokalama I he pongpongini. Today we are blessed and honored to have distinguished members from various government and non-government organizations gracing our presence this morning. We extend our warmest welcome to you all as we gather to attend our first ever workshop on the system of economic and environment account. With great pleasure, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the representative of the World Bank, Natalia Latu, the representative of the Pacific Community and the director of the Pacific Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, Solomone Fifita, CEO of the Tonga Power Limited, Finau Moa, representative of the CEO of the Tonga Waste Authority, Stalin Naufahu, the managing director of the Total Petroleum Company Limited, Iskeli Ta'oe, representative of the Energy Department, Eliate Laulaupe'alu, acting government statistician at Vinyana Pomana, and I would also like to acknowledge the CEO of the Tonga Water Board, Sione Tutulu Finau, CEO of the Tonga Gas Limited, Fekita Mataele, Director of the Climate Change Department, Luisa Tuiafitu Malolo, Deputy Director of the Ministry of Trade and Economic Development, Sandra Fifita. And I would also to especially acknowledge the consultant of the System of Economic and Environment Account, or SIA for short, Dr. Tevita Tukunga, and all the participants from various agencies who are joining us today. Welcome. As your MC for this morning, I will not take up more of your time. We will commence our program with a prayer led by Futa Lolo, a statistician from our economics program within the Tonga Statistics Department. Ko le pe ke kamata ke tau Polokalama I he pongpongini ai lotu, pe ako whakawhi ai ai taha o kau ofisa Statistica ai Potungaue ke ni whahoko ai tau lotu I he pongpongini.
Maro, ko aptai pe ke o tua mafi, tak whanonga hao ko whai ke tau Ngaahi Moimoi tau au sia e. Ai pongpong whakoloa koeni, te waki mo e kamataanga o e whatongia koeni, mana ke tau kuesia he pongpongi e tau iai. Ki mua wha tau loto, ku ai pe ki wholofola o tō mai he pongpongini, oko pe ko he hulu ki he tau whanonga o whai, mo hono kamataia o e Ngaue koeni. Ai au kuhaia he tohi e ongongore nei tohi mātiu, a taha e wahe po ai whaua e wesi, pe no lau, ia pehange siso ke te nau tolu, he iksi te moulau he tohi, ko maka koe na eliaki he kautofonga, ko ia ku hoko koe fungani o e turiki. Ko Ngaue e ni asihova, pe koe mea whakaofo i tau ao. Tau lotu o toa mafi ko koe mauta mai whahewana e awhiona. Ono mai he pongpongi whakoloa koe, ni whakoloa e pongpongi, ni koe mau inasi I he mo ui. Mo ni ku mau wakai a waihala na whai mai e mau whanonga, tala mai koe waihala e na ikai ki honge whai ngata. Ka e whawheta I koe tauhi hao ko ke whai ki he mau mo ui wai, mau au si ai pongpongi whakoloa koe. Mau whiawhia I ke mau lotu, whiawhia ke o ato ai whakawhetai, Makatu'unga koe tauhi malu, mo e ofa e awhana, ko ke whai ke mau ngai, mo ui wai. Ia mo ni koe ofa e awhana, tala mai whatatāia ki he mo unga, ukai ki ahano tumutumu. Ia mai koe ofa e awhana, whatatāia ki he moana, ukai ki ahano takere. Ia mai koe ngai ahoni, ukai ke mau ke iaa, au mau anu, Makatu'unga koe ofa e awhana. Ka moni koe ofa ia awhiona, koe ofa ia ku hulu. Hulu e ofa awhiona na ke o mea iho alotofe taha ke hifo ki mamani. Ko ia tui pikitai ki a te ia ke oua na auha kai mau e mo i tangata. Whawhitai anga e mau mo uihi mo whanongo ai whetukotoko, he ngahi aho. Ka mai utafe hange hawai tafe. Ka koe mau kau, whawhihu ia e mau mo ui, pe nai tōnga mehe ha. Maulea whakataha pe mo tangata me tahi ko e kipe. Whawhitai anga e mau mo ui, ngahi aho ai au mau iai. Mau kore whakamore more o Makatu'unga ko e mau ngahi tō nou. Mau kei whakamo oni he aho ko toa pe e mau mo ui ko e anga hala pe a ki mau tō. Pore kua whai he pongpongini ki a teki mau tōlu. Ka mai ke mau wewete mo si aki ia pe a kumi me he o tuaha no whakamore more. No ho lau marie o atumua e mau ngahi kowi o lolomi ho ta au ke iere pa. Mau ai mo ui pe hange koe tala na e whai he apostolo ke mau o lahi au pito. Mau heni he pongi koeni koe kamata ia o e whatongia koeni. Pe mau ilo whawapau pe o tua au kai teki mau pe teki mau tolo. He mau ilo tala mai koe kamata mo e ki. Kamata anga Lelei ia ngahi whatongia ko toa pe mau whai. Mau whawhetai pe hange ko tala noa ko whai he apostolo he pongpongi ai au mau iai. Lamai koe maka koe na e li aki ku ho koe fungani Makatuliki. Whatongia koe ni tala mai koe ha mau Ngaue ka koe Ngaue ne ai afiona ku mau amanaki ki mau kamata ia he aho ai au mau iai. Tamai mafi mau kore ho lau mare ke hifo mai whai tapu ki na mua ki mau tolu. Malo peu ke Lelei whalau mare Lelei pe si te vita mana ki whakafua whatongia mawhai aho ai au ku mau iai. Hifo maha lau mare o kau pia ke tokoni o tamai e ki Founga iwi. Whakapulupulu a ki mua o tamai e ki Ngahi Lelei a whanā pau ton mo tau ke mau whakawhita e mo whakamalo. A whio mai koe kau whakawhe me he Ngaahi Potungaue ke heke, nau kau mai ko whie poupou ke he whatongia koe ni tamai. Hifo maha lau maari e o whai toko niange mua ki nau tolu. Fua ki pe haiwi mo ha malohe ko hunga ko Ngaahi whatongia, wha pulupulu a ki nau tolu Ngahi Lelei ai awhana. O tonu mo tau ke mau whawhita e mo whamalo. Tua e mau toi hanga tu ko si kau Ngaue o Potungaue. Pou ke whatongia o mana ke mau kamata ia he aho ai au ku mau iai. Hifo maha lau maari e ke tau whai Ngaue pe mo awhana. Tua e mau hanga tu ko aho e mo hono Ngaahi whatongia. Ka tau ka iai, ke tau iai pe mo lau maari e awhana. Mau au si e tau mui e whatongia aho koe ni hifo maha lau maari e. Ke tau whaosi pe mo lau maari e awhana. Hifo maha lau maari o kau ia teki mau tolu. Ngahi mea uton ke humo kau kia si e mau lotu wai, whakato lotu me loto rangi, koe lotu pe AF, waku haki atu he pongpongi ai au ku mau iai. Whai mai me langi na ha mau tāpuaki whakamonu ia siso kalaisi ko alo kako ia hau mau whakamoi.
Whamalohe ni ki he lotu Lelei ko kamata ki ai tau Polokalama. Ka hili pe whahoha a te tau Moimoi whope ki he tau asenita. E whakahoko atu lewa e he taha o e kau tokon pule i he Potungaue ni. Me le tau moe peau ha tala teu nou i he lea whakapilitania. Pe tau hoko atu ai pe ki he lea whakaawa o e Polokalamani. Aia e whakahoko atu ia e he pule leo o e Potungaue Statistica Adveniana Pomana. Pe ka hili ia te utok whakahoko atu ai toenga o e Polokalama ki he pongpongi ni. I would like to thank Futalolo for the opening prayer, and we now turn our attention to our program. We will begin with an introductory remark by Mele Tamoepeau, an assistant government statistician, followed by the opening remarks by Adveniana Pomana, the acting government statistician. May I now invite Mele Tamoepeau to deliver the introductory remarks.
Thanks, Tisa. O ko kole ke o Ngaahi bea ke o whakamalmalo atu he tala whātap whawhoofa nas kamata aki e tau Polokalama. Tuku ke o hufanga atu kai ata ke whinimotu ani ke hoko atu e whatoniani i he lea whapilitania. Good morning, everyone. Before we get on to the area of interest, which we're all here for, the SIA, which is the System of Environmental Economic Accounting Framework, I've been given the privilege of giving you a small introduction to the SICBT project, of which the SIA framework is being implemented under. The SICBT project, which is the Statistical name for the Statistical Innovation and Capacity Building Tonga project, is a World Bank funded project via an International Development Association grant. To date, I believe this is the smallest World Bank funded government project in Tonga with a fund of $2 million US. Commencing in 2021, it was one of the 2 such projects that was the first ever in the Pacific. One implemented in Tonga via the Tonga Statistics Department and one in Kiribati via the Kiribati National Statistics Office. There's also a regional counterpart of this project being implemented by the Pacific community, with the plan that more countries will join in later phases. But focusing back to the Statistical Innovation and Capacity Building Tonga project, why this project? The short but a mouthful answer is the ever-increasing data demands of today needs to be met with timely, frequent, user-driven data in order to support evidence-based decision-making. That's the short answer. The rationale of this project is that via the project, we hope that we close the data gaps, ensure data collection and analysis capabilities, and develop and pilot low-cost survey approaches that are financially sustainable. So cheaper ways to do and run survey collections, data collections. Not only the frequency of data collection be improved for better tracking of progress over time, but the types of data collected and reported are improved on certain targeted issues, for example, energy. Also, the data collected via the project will also provide key information for monitoring multiple national outcomes in the Tonga Strategic Development Framework too. So 2 of the 3 major components in this project are aimed at this. The component of institutional strengthening, which provides support for analytical training and data and dissemination research. Data and research dissemination, got that messed up. Advanced analysis on data sets and better ways to present the official statistics to users, to the stakeholders, in order for them and you to understand better the data at the level you need in order for you to do your decision making. Now, the other component of the project is the innovation and capacity building in data collection component. It is here that we can do 2 big national surveys, but also support establishing new price statistics in Statistics Department, establish the tourism satellite account, and, but most importantly for this workshop, conceptualizing and the implementation of the SIA framework. We are fortunate in the Tonga Statistics Department that via this project, we're able to engage the expertise of Dr. David Tukunga, whose team is working closely with the stats team, headed by Ms. Ativeniana Pomana, on the first ever framework in Tonga. Now for further elaboration on the SIA framework and its contribution to Tonga, I'm going to leave to my colleagues and to the panel to discuss on. But thus end my little brief introduction on the SICBT project. And I'll leave the floor back to the MC. And thank you, and I much appreciate your time. Malo.
Thank you, Mele Tamoepeau. May I now invite the acting government statistician, Ativeniana Pomana, to deliver the opening remarks.
Whatapu ke awhio e o tuaha taulotolotoga. Whatapu ke he kau taki mo kau Pule'anga e ko tau peku tau kau whakataha e pongpongini. Ka pehe ke kau me mipa ka atoa ku tau kau whakataha ke whakahoko e ai workshop o e pongpongini. Ka tāmo e whini mo tuatuani ke whakahoko ata e whakahoa lea I he le whapilitania. Representative of the World Bank, Natalia Latu, Representative of SBC and Director of Pacific Center of Excellence for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, Mr. Solomon Fifita, CEO for Tonga Power Limited, Mr. Finau Moa, CEO for the Tonga Water Board, Mr. Sione Finau, CEO of the Tonga Waste Authority, Mr. Malakai Lomusika, Acting CEO for Tonga Gas Limited, Ms. Fekau'aki, Managing Director of the Total Petroleum Company Limited, Acting Director of Energy, Sione Tausinga, Representative of the Department of Environment, Loisi Tongia, participants, and ladies and gentlemen. In response to the policy demand from the World Commission of Environment and Development, also known as the Brundtland Commission, and subsequently Agenda 21, the 1993 Integrated Environmental and Economic Accounting was the first system of environmental and economic account to be developed. Further development of the statistical framework based on practical experience in implementing the 1993 SIA was further published in 2003 as an integrated environmental and economic accounting, which was known as the 2003 SEEA or SIA. That was not enough, and in view of the continued need for environmental and environmental economic information, the United Nations Statistical Commission established the Committee of Experts on Environmental Economic Accounting in 2005. Composed of representatives from national statistical offices and international agencies with the mandate to revise the 2003 and the objective of establishing a statistical standard for official statistics. The Bureau of the Committee of Experts of Environmental Economic Accounting, consisting of representatives elected among its members and acting under delegated authority from the Committee of Experts, managed and coordinated the revision of SIA. National statistical offices from countries throughout the world, as well as international organizations, made valuable contributions. In its 43rd session in 2012, the Statistical Commission adopted the first official SEEA Central Framework as the initial international statistical standard for environmental economic accounting to be implemented in a flexible and modular approach. All countries are to compile their environmental economic accounts on the basis of the SEEA Central Framework, to report statistics derived from it, and to continue to work together to address the remaining challenges in this domain to provide an even more comprehensive set of environmental economic accounts. The Government of Tonga's Statistics Department and the World Bank are currently taking partnership in the implementation of PACSTAT-T's Tonga Innovation Capacity Building Project to develop a system of economic and environmental account for Tonga. The objective is to identify interrelated sectors and data for SEEA core framework for measuring the contribution of the environment and its relationship to the economy. The identified sectors will include energy, water, land, fisheries, waste, and pollution, and so on, which are linked to national policy priorities and needs. Other requirements are to design an appropriate methodology to measure the direct economic contribution of the environment to the economy and the impact of the economy on the environment. This should include a data reporting system that demonstrates the interrelationship between the economy and the environment. Today, TST and World Bank are delighted to host the first national system of environmental economic account workshop for key stakeholders to come together and share their ideas about the content of the SEEA accounts. I am glad that the selected SEEA consultant, Makatu'unga, has already designed a central framework for Tonga, of which you will have time to discuss and assess in this workshop. At the heart of the SEEA Central Framework is a system approach to the organization of environmental and economic information, which covers, and completely as possible, the stock and flows that are relevant to the analysis of the environmental and economic issues. The integration of information concerning the economy, and the environment requires an interdisciplinary approach. The SEEA Central Framework brings together in a single measurement system information on water, minerals, energy, timber, fish, soil, land and ecosystems, pollution and waste, production, consumption, and accumulation. In fact, we are here to share our expertise and knowledge to find a unique solution for the system of environment and economic accounts for Tonga. Given the importance and continuity of the role played by statistics in the development of our country, this workshop cannot go without having asked you to share your plans, program of actions, visions, and objectives, as well as information and data, so that we can collaboratively develop our national framework. In return, this framework will facilitate informed decision-making, progress monitoring towards sustainable goals, valuation of natural capital, accountability and reporting, as well as promotion of sustainable practices. By providing a consistent approach, SEEA plays a crucial role in addressing environmental challenges, fostering resilience, and deriving innovation while highlighting the importance of sustainability in economics decision-making. I wish you all a successful and productive discussion in your workshop and enjoy your time with us. Malo abito.
Thank you, Adveniana Pomana, for setting the tone to our discussion through this insightful introductory and opening remarks. Moving forward with our program, we are now transitioning into the high technical panel discussion on the SIA account. And as we look around this room, we are truly privileged to be joined by an esteemed panel of experts who will share their invaluable insights, experiences, and knowledge related to the system of environmental and economic account. Please allow me to introduce our first speaker. He is the former Director of the Energy Department, Director of the Utility Boards, and the current consultant of the SIA project, Dr. Te Tukunga. Peko e poloseki au kuhinga ia e tauheni he pompongini. Dr. Tukunga will elaborate on the scope and requirements for the development of the SIA account, which is part of the Statistical Innovation and Capacity Building Project funded by the World Bank. Ko ia e kai teu toi whakaloloa, ka ko whakawheheni a toke tā te Vita Tukunga ke ne kamata e tau talatala noa i he aho koe ni, i he houani, malo o pito.
Eu pape mo e mataku o kakato ko pai o mai Fatungaue ko kakato mai CEO ka tape ke fai pe ki ko Ngaue e Fakataukei ke hoko atuai. Before I pass it on to the representatives and from sectors and CEOs from other utilities, as well as the representative of World Bank and SPC. Before I pass it on to you, I just want to take us to the work table, take us to be real and start on talking to why we are gathered here today. And I'd like to make a very simple history of the beginning of this work. And I think acting CEO has included that in his speech, as well as Mary. But I just want to say it again, because that's the beginning of why we are here and what we are doing here. In 1983, we all know 1983 to 1991, that's when the World Commissions for Environment and Development released what is known as the Frontline Report or Sustainable Development Report. And in this report, it shows how we need to care about our environment as well as the economy. There are two things that has been emphasized by the report. That they aware that some of the resources of the environment has been utilized in the economic activities, and some, while we have economic activity, while the process of economic activities, there are also impact of economic activities in our environment. So we use our environment to support our economic activities, for example, oil, fuel oil, petroleum product, gas, fuel wood, anything from the environment we use to support our economic activities. And at the end, this report also look at how the environment is influenced while we enjoy our economic activities. That's the main thing for that report. It's known as Frontline Report or Sustainable Development, followed by Agenda 21, and I'm sure Natalia and Solomon has known this. Then in 1993, the United Nations Statistical Commission, or Statistic Commission, responds to this report. And as Adveniana said, in 1993, they produced the first handbook to guide the development of SIA, or System of Economic and Environment account for all countries. That's what the Statistic, the World Statistics Department contributed. And when they use, in most countries, they use the 1993 handbook to design their framework, but not all countries are fully enjoyed to do it. So the United Nations Statistical Commission then in 2003 produced another framework, and they call it 2003 framework. And again, it was not official. Some countries they follow, and some they don't. Then in 2012, that's when the first official framework released as response to the Frontline Report. They released it in 2012. So the World Bank and Statistic Department have some of the countries they have already produced their SEE account report. And in the Pacific, it's Fiji and Samoa has completed. Tonga has started, and I think by the end of this project, they will be produced. The sea account for Tonga will be produced. So that's why we are calling you here. While you work for every sectors of the economies, you have faced how, and you know how many you have used. What is the contribution of environment to your work, and you have information about it. You will use oil, you will use gas, that from our environment, and you know the information about it. This is how much I have used. This is how much I have produced, like carbon emission. This is how much I have produced which influence our environment. So you know exactly what have you contributed to our economy, which is very good. But at the same time, we also know how much we have destroyed our environment. And that's why we have started this work, and that's why we need to have a SIA account for country where we can report or document how we use our environment and how we influence our environment with the work we have, how far we have influenced our environment. That's the main work. And I have already produced the, as an introduction, a draft framework for SIA account in Tonga. And I'd like to show it in this 5-minute session. And in this one, it's not the first time to produce this framework. I have produced it from the energy sector. And the reason why is because I want to know about the economy. That is why we based on energy. Once we know our energy resources, we are very close to know our economic activities. Because without energy, there is no economy. And that's why and this is not the first time. This is a derivative of what has been produced by me and Solomon in the Ministry of Lands. That's the first yearbook for energy. And then there is already a project in the region about for energy statistics, and Eri is working on it. So I have gathered all those information, and I want to be specific to Tonga, because that's the requirements of the SIA report. You need to be very specific to the need of your country. Does not necessarily mean this is how America is doing it, then Tonga will do the same. No. Tonga will use the framework, but very specific to what we need, what's specifically useful for our country. And that's why we call all of you, because you are working entirely on our economic activities, and you have your experience. And if you have time, we can discuss the framework, and hopefully we come to an agreement at the end that this is the one that we should be used for to design or develop our SIA account. Yeah? Produce. Can you a little bit bigger? Can you enlarge the icon so that we can? But it's the derivative of what we have initially produced in the Ministry of Saving and Solomon, and it's trying to compile what are the energy that we have used in the country in various. How can we? What are the energy that we produce in the country, and what are the energy that we have imported to the country, and how are this energy is used in the economic sectors? Okay? For example, if we say we started with the off-grid, coconut residue, that's Fefie, fuel root, that's Fefie, and other biomass that maybe in the future we will come across with, like bagasse that has been used in Fiji. Then I have set a column for that, one that likely to be seen in the future in Tonga. I have set a column for that. And then we have off-grid energy, solar energy, wind energy that's grid connected. Hydro, maybe some days we will have hydro. There is already a project on hydro in Tonga, and maybe the Tonga Water Board may like to talk about looking at the hydro potential in the underground water. They have a project like that already. So I put in everything, but the key thing is we need to include all energy for the future. That's why we and I have included what producing new, and we call it energy commodity account. And the second framework is the energy balance. The energy balance, we transform all units into one common unit so that we can ready to assess and analyze what we are doing in the country. Okay? And that's the energy. Can you come to another one? Yeah. The guy. No. That's 2021. Yeah. Next one. Allah ke pego yo lunga bit ma ke pi de taha bego. Allah. Koi. Anyway, that's the energy balance framework, eh? I'm going to mire all energy into one unit so that you can compare fuel wood and say solar. You can compare how much energy you consume in here and how much energy you have used in solar. Once we understand the energy demand and supply in the country, we can use it to estimate the economic plus other indicators, the economic activities, and how we contribute to the economy from our environment. Yeah? And the other one is, once we have that, we will then start to, I think I have put us to the context of what we're supposed to do. And while we have the, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of all the CEOs, especially the representatives from our World Bank office, the SBC office, and every one of us who are here today. At the end of this workshop, we expect to have all of us to agree to the final version of the SIA Central Framework, so we can use the SIA framework to further develop our first SIA account for the country. With that, thank you very much for your presence. Malo.
Malo au pito to ta devita tukunga ke no Fakataukei mai ai tau mua pe mo uhinga e tau iheni he pongpongi ni pe oku mahino mai ai whakaamu ke tau whepotano aki mo ngai whakataha i ngahi aho koko mai ke tau whelotoi ki he framework koini oku o swaihono fotu ke tokoni ki he whalalaka tau Fonua. Continuing with our program, it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. She is the representative of the World Bank. As you may have heard, World Bank is funding this project. So Natalia Latu is here to provide an insights into this SICBT project, or the Statistical Innovation and Capacity Building Project in Tonga. With no further ado, Natalia, may I invite you to present, and also feel free to use the podium or use the table in Tongan or in English. It's all up to you. Thank you.
Good morning, colleagues. Firstly, I want to congratulate the Tonga Department of Statistics for planning and organizing this workshop in relation to the system of environmental economic accounts. As mentioned by the previous speaker, this is one of several projects that the Government of Tonga is implementing with support from the World Bank. As you have heard this morning, the ultimate goal of the project is to improve the comparability, accessibility, sustainability, and overall quality of statistics in Tonga. So under this project, this component aims to close some of the data gaps in economic statistics here in Tonga, and in particular, the system of environmental economics accounts. It aims to create a framework to measure the linkages between environmental statistics and the economic statistics. So by having this framework, it is our hope that the Government of Tonga will have access to more data to help inform policy decisions and priorities. I look forward to fruitful discussions today, and I thank you to the acting CEO, David Tonga, and the team here at the Department of Statistics, as well as relevant stakeholders. Malo pito.
Malo au pito Natalia, whamalo atu kau hiko tuku ho taimika ke kau whataha pe moku mautolu I he Polokalama pongpongini. Your presence here is a testament to your support providing for this project. Moving on in our program, our next speaker, I am very pleased to introduce our next speaker, which is the Director of the Pacific Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, Solomon Fifita, which will share his insights on the contribution of energy to our economic development and the impact of energy on the environment. Without further ado, Solomon Fifita, the floor is yours, Malo.
Kore pe ke whakamala toi pe Ngaahi tala Fakatapu ko mua ki whai. When we talk about statistics, I'm reminded of a saying that statistics is like a lamppost to a drunken man. It's more for the drunken man to lean on the post rather than making use of the lights from the lamp. I've been asked to speak about the contribution of energy to our economic development and the impacts of energy on the environment. To show supporting statistics, I must apologize that I don't have supporting statistics. But I think we can all be reminded that in economics, E110, well, it was called E110 during our time, that when you talk about factors of production, you're talking about land, labor, and capital. And I think that labor refers to energy nowadays because we are using machines rather than human or animal labor energy. So we are talking about diesel, gasoline, fuel wood, LPG, and electricity. There may be some coal, malala used in the country, but that I don't know. We all know that energy is central to our economic development. Without energy, nothing moves. In fishing, without electricity, we cannot freeze and export our fish. Without fuels, our fishing boats can't go out that far to get that habla, puaka, and tuna. In tourism, without electricity, our hotel rooms would not be so comfortable without the air cons. And our visitors would regrettably take cold showers. Our whale watching industry would be crippled. And our lulutai won't be able to fly tourists to Vava'u and back. In agriculture, we all know that without diesel, we cannot have the plow to prepare our land well for planting. And we can't bring our harvest to the market. And I think the same can be said of sectors such as education, in health, in telecommunication. We need energy to drive those sectors. It's important, therefore, to have energy secured economies. People define energy security to exist when all people at all times have access to sufficient, sustainable sources of clean and affordable energy and services to enhance their social and economic well-being. So I think it's important to talk about access, the reliability of supply, that there is always sufficient sources of energy available for the economy, that it's clean, and most importantly, that it's affordable. At SPC, we have developed 37 energy security indicators, whereby we try to measure the performance of the energy sector in various areas, such as access to energy, affordability, environment, cleanliness of the sector. So these are all that has been developed, and it's available to be able to measure with indicators on the performance or the status of the energy sector. David talked about the energy commodity accounts and the energy balance, and I think these are very important developments in Tonga. And parallel to these developments is the fact that I think the Ministry of Maytech is also developing the greenhouse gas inventory, of which I think when we talk about emissions, the bulk of that must be from the energy sector, in particular from transport and power generation, where most of the fuels are consumed. I think on the impacts of energy on the environment, we are all aware of our declining coastal mangroves cover and our declining supply of fuelwood. Greenhouse gas emissions is an obvious impact of energy on the environment, as well as oil spills. I think those are obvious possible impacts on the environment. But coming back to the impact of energy on the economy, a lot, as I said earlier, energy is a factor of production. So we should be able to measure the energy consumed and what we are getting from each sector. The energy consumed in tourism and the contribution of tourism to the GDP. The same can be said of agriculture. And I certainly foresee that this exercise that we are starting today will lead to that, where people will see whether energy is being used productively in the economic sectors of the country. I think that there are, of course, some challenges because some of the classifications of sectors in the energy sector, it's not exactly the same as the classification that we give to the economic sectors. But it can be reconciled so that we can be able to tell how much is produced per unit of energy that is consumed in a sector, and how much, I guess, contribution to the impacts on the environment per unit of energy consumed per sector. I think I'll end it there, but I'm certainly looking forward for some fruitful discussion on this very interesting topic. Malo apito.
Malo apito ke talekita o Pacific Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, Solomon Fifita, for such an insightful discussion. I am very pleased to introduce our next speaker, Acting CEO for the Tonga Power Limited, Finau Moa. Finau will be sharing with us on the power generation distribution and the end-use demand in Tonga. We're very happy for now that you're sparing your time to be with us in this program, and we're looking forward to your presentation. Thank you.
Malo Pito, and please allow me to deliver my speech this morning on what was provided for me. I do not have a presentation, but just a speech, and I think the related data which you need from my company, we will provide it later. But I thank you all, and I'm honored to be here this morning to represent Tonga Power and speak about our pivotal roles in advancing the development of an economic and development account for our beloved Kingdom of Tonga. Our commitment to Tonga's well-being extends beyond providing electricity. We recognize that true progress is more than economic growth. It's also about environmental sustainability, and that is why Tonga Power is actively contributing to the establishment of a comprehensive economic and environmental account that will provide an invaluable framework for our nation's future. Tonga Power's commitment to this initiative is multifaceted. We are actively participating in data collection and analysis efforts to better understand the environmental impact of our operations and the entire energy sector. This data will not only inform Tonga's environmental policies, but will also contribute to more sustainable energy practices. Furthermore, this will also assist with sustainable integrated resource planning for our power generation's resource, network distribution resilience, and improving our customer experience. Our engagements goes beyond data collections. We are actively investing in technologies and practices that reduce our carbon footprints and environmental impact. This includes expanding our use of renewable energy source and integrating grid enhancements that ensure greater energy efficiency. We recognize that our actions today will shape Tonga's future, and we are dedicated to make that future brighter and more sustainable. By contributing to the development of a system of economic and environmental account, we aim to promote transparency into the complex nature of the electricity sector and importance of data collection in improving our services. We look forward to assisting in progressing this project and ensure our cooperatives' efforts to the success of these projects. Malo Pito.
Whamalohe niki he Pule'anga o e Tonga Power Limited, pia mo e speech tau whanongo ki ai. Ko e whiawhia ke introduce ai toko taha, hokot ki ai e tau Polokalama talatala no he pompom koe ni. I am pleased to introduce our next speaker, representative from the Waste Authority, Stalin Naufahu, which he will present to us on waste management and its impact on our economic development and the quantity of waste in our environment. Stalin, malo apito.
Thank you very much. Warm greetings, everyone. My name is Stalin Naufahu. I'm the Manager, Special Projects and Information Technology at Waste Authority Limited, and I will be giving this speech on behalf of our CEO, Malakai Sika. It is a privilege to spotlight the critical theme of waste management in our economic development and the quantity of waste in our environment. As we delve into this theme, it is vital to align it with the broader System of Economic and Environmental Accounts, or the SEEA, and the integral role that environment and waste plays in this equation. Tonga, like many small island developing states, is a unique tapestry of challenges and opportunities. One, our small size and remote geography intensify the complexities and cost of economic activities, public services, and data collection. Furthermore, our beautiful islands are not just our pride, but they are also our vulnerability, especially when it comes to natural disasters. These factors have led to an economy that, while vibrant, is also sensitive to external shocks and reliant on financial transfers. Recognizing the need for data-driven solutions, the Tonga Statistics Department has undertaken the commendable task of addressing data gaps and expanding data sources. In pursuit of this goal, the Statistical Innovation and Capacity Building project supported by the International Development Association, or the IDA, has been initiated. It will seek to enhance the quality, accessibility, sustainability, and comparability of statistics in Tonga. This has been an issue in the past with data from the various sectors and ministries. There was no centralization. When you're applying for projects or when you're seeking funds, they need data. And that there was always a gap to meet that need when it came for seeking to get donor funds for the nation. So at the heart of this initiative lies subcomponent 1.3 of this project, which is dedicated to data collection for economic statistics. Within this, an essential focus is on the development and collection of data for the SEEA as a statistical system which offers us the framework that harmonizes economic and environmental information across all sectors and ministries identified within the project. So Waste Authority Limited, as a central figure in our nation's commitment and responsible waste management, occupies a pivotal part of this framework. Waste stands as an important effect of the thriving Tongan economy. Therefore, it is a byproduct of dynamic economic activities carried out by businesses, government institutions, and households. As of 2022, Waste Authority has reaches an impressive 96% of the whole population. So our statistics indicate that Tonga generates an annual average of 31,982 cubic meters of waste. This isn't just waste, it's also a reflection of our economy, with the quantity fluctuating between 4 to 12% each year. But our journey doesn't just stop at waste management, it extends to the intricate relationship between our economy and waste. As the economy grows, consumption grows, and so does waste. Our statistics, material imports coming into the country reflects an average annual increase of 6.14% from 2018 to 2022. And the reason we highlighted this time frame was because we have a figure of what things were like before COVID and after the pandemic. So you kind of get a realistic view. As of last year, our imports was at 623 million Tongan Pule'anga. That's a lot. And during the pandemic, during the lockdowns. Back in 2018, before the lockdowns, our imports were only at 509 million. So if we follow the thought process that as these imports increase, that waste should increase as well, you would be surprised to find that waste that's being disposed to the landfill has actually been decreasing, despite these imports increasing. And for example, in 2018, we disposed over 31,378 cubic meters to the landfill. But as of last year, we only disposed 27,000. That's after Ngaahi. And now, why is this? We have different theories. One could be that large gatherings were restricted during the pandemic, no church conferences, but also you should consider the cost of living. It has increased a lot since the pandemic. But people's salary standards have not increased proportionately to match this increase in CPI. So, in other words, it's more expensive to be a Tongan in 2023 than it was in 2019. I remember complaining when a box of chicken went from $24 to $26. Today it's 45, I think. So the factors contributing to this phenomenon are manifold. A convenience culture, escalating consumer consumption, dependence on imports, planned obsolescence, which is where you design a product specifically not to last as long as it used to. So it enters the waste stream much quicker, excessive packaging, inadequate recycling infrastructure, and a deficit in waste reduction education. In conclusion, we find ourselves at a juncture where waste management is not merely a matter of environmental concern. It is an economic necessity. The theme of this workshop harmonizes seamlessly with the broader objective of the Tonga Strategic Development Framework. In collaboration with our dedicated partners, various sectors, we stand as a dynamic force in this transformative process. We extend our gratitude to all of you for your presence today and anticipate that the insights, solutions, and commitments that will emerge from this workshop, together we will inscribe a new chapter in the history of statistics. Thank you.
Malo apito Stalin, and I believe a lot of us can resonate with your speech and the information that you shared, especially when you said it is more expensive to be a Tongan in 2023 than in 2019. Moving on with our program, there's a slight change. Instead of having morning tea now, we only have 2 speakers left, so we will move forward to the Director of Total Petroleum Company Limited, Iskeli Taoe, and followed by the representative from the Department of Energy, Eliate Laulau Pe'alu, and after that we will have our morning tea. So with no further ado, I would invite Mr. Iskeli Taoe to share with us on the energy demand in the economic sector. Thank you, Iskeli.
Thank you. Bulbanak everyone. Just to begin with, I wasn't told to present anything. I was just told to come and listen. And the second, I was number 10. I've been moved up, so. So I'm Fijian. For those of you that don't know Total Energies, it's a French-based company. We are present in almost 40, 50 countries. Tonga office, we report to our Fiji office. We have affiliates in New Caledonia, PNG, and the same vessel that comes to Tonga also goes to Wallis and Futuna and Norfolk Islands. Just to break down, so I have 2 things to talk on. That's the demand for petroleum products in Tonga's economic development, and the second one is the future of petroleum in Tonga. I'm going to give you a key number. My anticipated sales per day is around 50 tons of diesel. That's close to 60,000 liters. 90% of it goes to our electricity, while the rest goes to mobility and retail service stations. On how I see Tonga market is a sort of a stagnant market. Like, if it's not with me, it is my good friend Paula, Pacific Energy. If it's not with Paula, it's with me. Fortunately for me, my business is sustained by our beautiful generators at Hono, which is powering the whole kingdom, and also supply the other islands, which is Vavau, Hapai, and Eua. Leaving Vavau, collectively, the volume consumption for the 3 islands, Hapai, Vavau, and Eua, is around about 10,000 liters a day, while Nuku alone 30,000 for electricity, 30,000 liters a day. Those are the key numbers that I came with. The future to sustain petroleum supply in the islands is there are exciting projects coming in for Tonga. It's in line for Q1, Q2 next year. Obviously, there's a lot of money thrown into Tonga, thrown into our depot, and we are quite blessed and thankful for that. It's very rare to see opportunities of investors coming into Tonga. Right now, our biggest tank of diesel is out of service. It's going for 3 to 6 months, so that alone ensures the safety and the clean fuel supply for Tonga. And then we've also introduced containerized fuel tanks to foster supply in Tonga. For Tonga, The weather conditions plays a crucial role in the fuel supply. We recognize it, and we have sort of maintained our fuel supply through our LCT vessels that come in. So we've gone from 20 to 15 days on rotation. Regarding the environment impact, we recognize our global carbon footprints. So for those of you who have been doing a lot of reading on internet, we've acquired solar companies, we've acquired hydro, we went from a name change from Total Fiji Limited to Total Energies. We've gone into hydro, wind turbine, solar, you name it. So we want to be that global energy company that not only focuses on fossil fuel, but the other energy sources as well. So if there's an opportunity, we would love to do a market study on our capabilities in Tonga. We have exciting solar projects happening around the world. That 50 to 60% completion. Hopefully, if given the chance, we can also foster our presence in Tonga. In summary, we play a vital role in meeting Tonga's daily fuel consumption. We highlighted we supply tourism, in agriculture, in power, people's mobility in Tonga. However, it is also important to acknowledge and address the environmental impacts associated by us. So we are actively working towards it. And hopefully after this workshop, we'll come up with more innovative ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Iskeli. We now move on to the last speaker of this program, and I would like to introduce Mr. Eliate Laulaupea'au. He is an energy specialist and representative from the Energy Department, which operates under the Ministry of MADEC. Without further ado, may I now invite Eliate to do his presentation.
Hello, Bido. On behalf of the Acting Director of Energy, Mr. Ofasifana is currently away on travel. I'm here to make a short presentation, short statement on been given the energy demand in our economic sectors, but I think I'll just touch a little bit on the energy data in the Department of Energy has come to until today. Data collection, sharing and dissemination are essential for any reliable analysis, especially economic analysis, and to make informed policy decisions regarding supply, consumption, and electricity generation. The department has somehow established a data collection system and some relevant procedures. However, while the data on supply is comparatively robust, some exception on the stock levels, data for electricity generation, transmission, and distribution, as well as final consumption shows some considerable gaps at the moment. Among others, there is paucity in end-use data with no further sectoral breakdown, for example, electricity generation, consumption and generation being available. But in addition, some consumption, final consumption for some sectors is estimated, including agriculture, forestry, and fishing. I think these are one of the main economic sectors that Tonga is dealing with. However, at a minimum, the government wants to ensure that the information necessary to build an energy balance for Tonga. I believe Dr. David Tukunga showed a glimpse of that energy balance on his presentation earlier. Anyways, that energy balance is very essential to observe major trends, such as changes in consumption patterns over time, assess security of supply, determine the share of renewables in the electricity mix, assess energy intensity, and calculate greenhouse gas emissions from the combustion of fossil fuels and such. For that purpose, these data must be collected for relevant fields and flows, covering supply, consumption, and electricity generations. The Energy Act, which was a royal ascended recently last year, provide some kind of a legal foundation for introducing a mandatory energy data collection. It stipulates that the ministry responsible for energy establish and maintain a comprehensively energy sector database. And I believe this workshop that the Statistics and World Banks are currently hosting is a very good way forward for this initiative based on the Energy Act implementation. However, the Act does not explicitly provide the Ministry of responsible for energy with the power to establish regulations and standards for data collection. But it does somehow stipulate that we can require a person to supply information to the department in relation to the provision of an Energy Act of an energy product or service in the kingdom. I think prior to the energy bill coming into force, there has been no regulation in place for mandatory data reporting. And with regulation missing on what data is being collected, how it is collected, and how frequently it is collected, information that has been collected by the Department of Energy was not being properly compiled, managed, and disseminated in a standardized way. To touch on one of can you go to the next slide, please? This is the source of this graph. Just wanted to show it. It's based on the national energy balance that Davida showed earlier. It kind of shows the energy consumption or energy demand of each economic sectors. And based on everything that I've just mentioned, that's the best, and the data available, that's how we can see from the energy balance how energy is being consumed in each sectors, including residential, commercial, social, and government services, agriculture, forestry, and fishing. There are considerable need to be updated or upgraded, work to be done, but this is just want to give you a quick screenshot of where we're at the moment. I think data management is a cross-cutting theme that is necessary, dependent on the requirements and enabling environment of energy supply, consumption, electricity generation and distribution, transportation, and the current Energy Act. I think this workshop provides a good platform to have this kind of discussion, which I am definitely looking forward to, that somehow at the end of the day we come up with probably new problems, but at least it's new problems, not old problems, and new solutions. And can't probably change the world, but we can certainly make a difference. Thank you.
Malo pito eli pea kol famule mole pe tau kau whakatahen pea moi whawhawhonga pea mihe Tonga Gas Limited pea ko whie tuke Whakamamali koe ni ke ne whahatala noa whakaosi I he potanog tau whahoke pompong koe ni. And this time I would like to introduce Fekita Mataele from the Tonga Gas Limited, which will share with us more on the demand for LPG products in our economic development and the trend for future demands. This time, may I invite you, Fekita, to either deliver it where you are or from the podium.
Thank you, everyone. I apologize for just the late attendance to this meeting. From Tonga Gas, from Tonga Gas Limited. We are a subsidiary of Tonga Power. Mainly our operation is distribution and importing of LPG, which is liquefied petroleum gas. Annually, we import around 2,000 tons per year into the economy and sell just around the same number of ton to customers. Our customers are basically to homes, especially to the kitchens and for cooking. And according to the statistics census in 2021, 80% of the total household use LPG for their cooking. It is to note here, in terms of working into a cleaner energy, LPG is one of a cleaner way of a fuel for energy into our household. It provides a variety of advantages. Basically, when we talk about LPG, I'm pretty sure LPG is part of our everyday life, but little information is being disseminated to the household and to the country on the as a very clean fuel. From wherever point of view we choose, we will always see LPG involving people, the environment, and the future. So I feel in this roundtable, I would like to get us more aware, and before it will also help us to share this information with our colleagues and also the public in trying to show the impact of the choices of human on the environment while proposing and promoting a safer and cleaner alternative. LPG can be identified as an exceptional energy source. It's clean and versatile, available and accessible in off-grid gas areas, especially outer islands that has no access to power. Gas, LPG will be used for them for their everyday life. It is an energy source which increases the wellness both for people and for the planet. People of Tonga still cook and heat their homes by burning biomass, kerosene, and coal. I understand that pollution from this way of cooking can be harmful, maybe indirectly, but then it is noted that using and moving to LPG in the kitchens and at the homes contribute to wellness of the people and also to the environment. It raises the quality of the life while guaranteeing benefit to the environment as well. And it also protects our natural resources. If we do not use the woods and stuff, we might be able to conserve our area for forestation and avoid deforestation if we are more into providing LPG to the use of the homes. Unfortunately, from Tonga Gas, we're still at a very small and early stages of our production due to constraints and challenges in terms of our infrastructure. Our storage capacity currently here in Tonga is a total of 296 megaton, and which our main source is located down in Toliki with a 250 metric ton, and 55 of that is in Vava'u. So this is just where we, for all your cylinders that you come and exchange and take into your homes, are being refilled in Toliki or at Tola Vava'u at our Tonga Gas area. There we refill your cylinders, and earlier this year we have established 3 extra decentralized areas for exchanges only. That is at Alaki, Latu and Lakepa, where we are trying, the Tonga Gas Limited is trying to bring LPG closer to your homes and accessible to its customers, where you can feel free, instead of walking to the bush and collecting woods, you can always just drive in a 5 minutes drive, which is a drive-through, even better. You can just drive through with your cylinders and do your exchange there. The whole idea here is having access and trying to promote and advise customers in bringing a cleaner and more reliable LP source for your cooking. Infrastructure-wise, we're still growing and trying to see how more we could work into this into the future, as we see renewable is a main topic in energy here. So this might be somewhere Tonga Gas is able to assist the development of Tonga into a cleaner and more reliable source. There is auto gas vehicles. There is one gas vehicle that we usually refill in Toliki. They just come to our port at Toliki and refill their gas over there. So there is a possibility, and there's areas in which I'm pretty sure the government will have to assist, because there are over 25 million auto gas vehicles around the world, and basically in working through and working into the new era of greener energy and renewable energy. This Tonga Gas is a baby, so we're still moving up to find some way that we will be able to help the government in general in providing and advising public awareness to the kingdom in something that will be contribute a better life for everyone, let alone its contribution to the whole planet in green energy. Statistics, probably we have our session somewhere around down the line, in tomorrow or the following day we might be able to provide as much information on statistics. But on that, if there's any funding somewhere here, we might be able to tap into to get our registers and risk management works. We are very, very grateful for this opportunity. We might be able to get assistance and some assistance from all of you that are more advanced in this area of energy. Thank you.
Malo au pito whekita, pe koe tawa o mai ki whaosinga e Polokalama he pongpongi ni, pe kou tu koe ai Fakamamani koe ni ki a toke tā te vita tūkunga, ke ne o atu pehane to e Tanaki, pe tau toki hoko atu mea e Malo.
Thank you, Mary. It's always very rare to find a time with us. While we are here, I wish to have a small part of our time for questions, because once those delegation is leaving this book, it's only us participants. Thank you for your patience. You at the back, these are the participants. And if you have any questions, we have 5 to 10 minutes before we go for the Let me start the questions. Well, we have I have seen the documents, and because a lot of data I have taken from various sources. One of the data that it's very hard to find is the stock change. I mean, if we import 200 this year, it's very hard to find how much left over from last year, so that I can include it in this volume for this year. Sometimes we focus only on the import, but not the. Is it possible to get the stock change data from any sources in public report? No? Especially the products, petroleum products like diesel. When it comes to diesel, I know all the imports, I know all the consumptions, but I don't know how much left over from last year and be used in this year. And in the framework, they call it stock change. So what means to me is any import this year must be added to the stock change from last year, because that volume is also including this year.
Thank you, David. Just comment from what we Tonga Power internally apply with regard to the stock level. The method that we are using is stock take. So in every last day of the month and the first day of the new month, we will have to do a stock take. We can able to identify there the level of stock left over of what we have been imported to our tank and to Tonga Power in that month. So after the operations for that month, we must do a stock take in order to find out the level of the remaining stock. Example like the fuel for the diesel, we must do that. So at the end of the year, we can able to identify the quantity of stock that we import and what have been before. I think that's the area we can be able to identify the remaining stock of anything by doing a stock take.
Thank you,
Sorry, can I ask a question? For those working on the SEA, so you're coming in with a data collection system. I'm just simplifying it here. Is that what it is? Because currently all these sectors have their own systems for data collection. So we're just looking into how well would it integrate with our current systems to avoid duplication of effort. If we are to collect data in our current system and then we implement the SEA, can we migrate our data into that system easily so that it won't cause any administrative hurdles or complications down the road?
Thank you. Don't expect every question to be answered. Because sometimes you can feel like answering that question. Any other questions? My last one. This is my last one. Well, we are here, and most of you the one who going, if you're going to allow data to be used in this exercise, you the one who's going to endorse or approve it. Do you see this exercise as something that is constrained for you to release any data, especially the imports, consumption? Do you see any business conflict or something, any issues that if we ask for data, I think DBL, they don't have to worry because they are the only one, you know.
I think I want to speak on behalf of a few companies. It's always a bit, I have to take a more strategic approach on requesting for data. For good cause, it shouldn't be an issue, especially for the growth and economic development of Tonga. It will be best that we share our data so that we can work cohesively to address some of the issues that are going to be highlighted in the next 3 days. So from my end, I'll try my best to get the data, especially on what we're most interested about is what we actually move in a day. We can correlate it in a month and we can come up with approximate figures for the year. And I can go via 2019 and I can work on it. Hopefully provided by, I think I have another, my name is here again on page 4. Hopefully I'll be ready by then.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Tanaki today, questions came from the Waste Authority. I think what David showed on the screen, the energy bill, in terms of sharing data or migrating data into the supposedly system. I think it was based on the Ngaue coordination. There was a history behind it. But like and I find of what if transition ya go me what me more template go na oku knife for to my David Makatu'unga Statistical. So because we go back to like past collaboration and coordination before, so we were kind of in a like let's say a better understanding of each other and how the system works. It's just an experience from our side. Go yeah, man. Oh. So yeah, no duplication of I very careful Lahi for Ngaue in the figure.
Malo, wagi Tanaki tu peki he further comments pe me he Faka'aki koni kumau ne Makatu'unga no Fakataukei component he project koni. Ko Faka'amue me tau muaki he SEA ko hono Fakatu ha framework, not necessarily a data collection system, but it will be data driven to compile a set of indicators that would tell us what's our status on the economy and how is the economy influencing the environment and how is the environment impacting the economy. So koe taumu'aia consultation koe ni is it's like a scoping mechanism. We're trying to scope what's already out there in your sectors, and then we're going to tailor the framework according to what's already available. You need to start somewhere. Something is better than nothing. So it's not about duplication of work. That katamwai ke oa duplicating Ngaue kumo osifai because you do best in your subject matters. What we are trying to do is to integrate from all your sectors and to measure those interactions between how the economy and the environment are interrelated to each other. Ko tui ko mako ki Tanaki pe me tapa ki malo.
I think this is not a question. I'm sorry if this was already been discussed in further presentation. I just want to comment on this project, whether it's a data collection. I feel that when we have a center like in what the SEA is trying to provide all the data from our viewpoint, providing you with the exact data on the monthly or daily or annually, it will give the government some like the indication and where we are, and that will also minimize like the government always asking for data, because sometimes you would want, I understand the urgency of the request, but probably due to staff constraints, we may not be able to meet the deadlines. But providing these on a daily or on a routine time to a body that will be able to collate this information and pull out for the betterment in terms of donor partner discussion. The government has the data firsthand and may be able to update that at a very short, maybe 2 months, and not just go back to 2019 asking for back when we but I really fully support from our side this exercise in which we are willing in terms of sharing information. We're just a little bit concerned that we do have a competitor, some information that might be able to go live. They might go get my customers, but I'm pretty sure it's all for a good cause. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone who wants to raise any concern, any other things?
David, maybe it's not a concern, but just to mention that there are parallel exercises that are taking place where some of the information can be sourced from, and to emphasize the importance of the consistency of the data that is used in various reports and for various purposes. I can mention the greenhouse gas inventory. I think that's an annual exercise by the Department of Climate Change, where they are also collecting data on fuel imports and fuel consumption in the country. The other is on the SDG indicators. And I'm not sure who is doing the one on SDG 7, because that deals with energy. And but just to mention that it should all be consistent, that the same data that is applied in our SDG indicators are applied in the other energy data related reports.
Yeah, I think Solomon raised something very important here, because sometimes you have the data, but you look at it and is it reliable? Having had a lot of parallel activities and other sources, you always happy to use, because if somebody asks you where you get this, oh, this guy, not me. but yeah, I think Solomon raised it good. But that's one of the challenges here, is how we get the data you want. We don't want to as acting CEO said, we don't want to force anyone to reveal the data. No. The data is yours. We always refer to what is available. And if we ask more and you say no more data, then we will use whatever is available. But remember, other countries has also published their own, and some countries are very realistic about what they have been published. I don't say that what we have is wrong. No. I'm saying that once we publish the SIA, all the countries. One thing good about the SIA, I think, it's well seen. I mean, because it will be published by World Bank, or World Bank, they have already got a lot of indicators database, or the Commission, Statistical Commission, UN Statistical Commission, whatever. But the good thing about this is it's well seen. A lot of people look at it. So I'm happy. I think we are about there. I think we are there. We are coming to the. Any other? I'm asked by the CEO. Oh, yes.
I just wanted to make a comment and jump in here. I'm very, very glad this panel happened. But to add on to the comments, you have discussed data sharing. So we're focusing specifically on the component of SIA, the SIA framework, and this is under a project. So data sharing issues will come up, but at the end of the day as well, we do have a program within statistics that also can support all the issues and to try and alleviate some of these issues that you were talking on. I'm glad that Solomone Fifita brought it up. This was just looking at the SIA framework in discussion, but when it comes to SDG indicators, all of your agencies also contribute to these indicators for SDG 7, the energy. And within statistics, we're trying to coordinate and consolidate all the national indicators to make sure that we all speak with one voice when we say this is a national indicator for Tonga. So what I'm saying is that even though we're just focusing on SIA here, there is a mechanism within the statistics department that also is looking at the SDG and national indicators to make sure that the duplication of work that you brought up, duplication of work and numbers, doing the same work but producing different numbers, doesn't happen. This program is very new. It's just a year in implementation, but it's working together with the SIA framework. We also have the TSA, that's a tourism satellite account, under the project too, just to make sure these things are, at the end of the day, the vision is it doesn't happen, but at this time, we keep it to a minimum as we move forward. But I'm just really glad that under this we can all come to the table so you all can share your experience and what it is your agencies do, so we, stats, able to identify where the data sources are and how we can work together. So thank you very much, everyone.
Andrew?
Thank you. Even though I'm on the round table, I'd like to provide our thoughts from TPL. I think the contribution of this project is important. Of course, we know our economic contributions to the nation, but an area that we miss out is the environmental impact. So, importance of our data is able to assist us in being able to track our progress, mitigating our impacts on the environment, let's say on an annual basis or quarterly, but that's a contribution that we look forward to, especially in regards to carbon emissions reduction. Of course, as mentioned by Solomone, this is one of the NDCs that we also aim to achieve on the global level, is a reduction of carbon emissions. So something that we've noticed is that every year the Department of Climate Change always hosts an event, but there's never a statement saying how much reduction of carbon emission each sector has contributed. So that's an area that from Tonga Power, it will be really helpful to be able to see on an annual basis using the data, how much are we actually progressing in an annual basis in reducing carbon emissions. That's just my small contribution to the panel discussions. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I think we have already asked the climate change to come because they are one of the key stakeholders, and they have the right data that you need. But that's why we have divided things into sector and put energy into sector, because the next stage we will calculate the carbon emissions. There are a lot of ways to do it. But yes, we need to know how much the impact of environment, of economy in our environment. Thank you. Any more? You?
Probably just one final comment from the Department of Energy. But because looking at this, it's like the way I see it, it's not after this. Maybe after this project, there will be like not an energy balance, but like a overall energy balance. But considering the economic impact, and it's very promising from our side, so that we're not only focusing on the carbon emission or reduction of GHG, but we also consider its impact on the livelihoods of the public or the general people, because that's like the main goal is to alleviate the poverty. So if we're not really considering that, then I think from our point of view, we're missing the whole point there. So this would be a very good, looking forward to this workshop. Paula?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, that's what we are doing in the beginning tomorrow. Remember, we have 3 more days in our workshop. That is tomorrow and Friday and Monday the next week. And that's what we're doing. And as you already said, I have already put down data from early and from everywhere into the energy balance. It's already balanced. You can look at it. But if say oil companies, that's why I asked you to bring one of your oil company. No, that's the amount. That amount is not right, and this is my reason for that. We will change it. We will change it according to their need. So that's why I asked almost all delegation that if we have one of your staff to come starting tomorrow, because she will answer. Of course, you are welcome anytime you want to come in, if you have time, and put in some contribution. But tomorrow we will continue to look at energy commodity account. That's one framework. The other one is energy finance. And then at the end, by Monday, we all agree that this figure is true, that we're ready to move on to the CR account. I think that's about it. I have no more words to thank to acknowledge your presence. And acting CEO said to also convey it to you that we are very pleased to have you and your time to come to this workshop. I hope you like it. And we're looking forward to, if you have time, to visit us in the next 3 days. We are here in the same office, and we are trying to make sure that this one is right for the country. Other than that, we'll malo lah ya kita mau au korega puta de pa osiate tau ki me os programa da hopa de loki go ti morning tea kamu to ki ta do mado go malo.
Matunga pea mo o kau pea mo toko ni mau ikuna e whatongia o ahako ni. Mai mafi mau hanga tu whafoki hao ki mato, mau taktaha Potungaue, taktaha Ngaue anga ke hoko atu e mau whatongia he aho ai au mau iai. Wio mai ko e mea toko ni ko teu, wailonga e whatongia o ahako ni kato aha mau inasi. Wamalohi aha mau sino, ngā ko mau Ngaahi whatongia o hanak mei moan. Ngai mea ton ke hu mo kau ke se maloto, Fakatolotu mei lotolangi, o kore katoa ngai malohi, ni kereso tau ko sukalaisi, mo alofa ai o tua ko tamai feho e lau maare ma ni no fo ia te ki mautolo e hoa ni pe ofa owa na hiki, ka whaet pe o tangata.